Hey gang, welcome. We are going to do our first draft of Kaldheim. We're not going to play the games, and we're not even on Arena. We are going to be using MTGAdraft.herokuapp.com, and we're just going to crank through a draft here. I've put it on no pick timer. I'm going to try to not take too long on every card, but it's hard for me not to. I've not seen most of these cards, so they really inspire me to want to talk about them. But we also want to see what a draft feels like, so I'm going to not try to overdo the talky talk, and we'll see if we can see what a pile of cards looks like at the end of 3 packs worth of drafting in this format. If you want to see what a pile of Kaldheim cards look like on your tabletop at home, I know where you can get them. My sponsor, CardKingdom.com, of course. Sponsors are great. Card Kingdom is great, and they're going to hook you up with everything you need for your Kaldheim experience. As you see cards you're interested in around here, be sure to check them out and get some pre-orders on. Maybe the latest commander deck you're going to create has a commander in this format, and you want to lock in that foil for it or something like that. Lots of things available to you there, and if you're a paper play and Magic player, Card Kingdom should be your second home. Just remember to get there from my affiliate links. If you do it in the panels down below, in the sorry, I'm chatting with our featured drafters here, but yes, get to Card Kingdom via my panels in the chat down in the panels or in the YouTube notes, and Card Kingdom knows you got there from here. Helps keep me on the air and all that stuff. So gonna hop over. We got one more anonymous. Who's anonymous C6C39? Give us a name. Got a couple of them. Oh, whatever. We'll see. We'll see if they're ready. Gonna hop over to left monitor here. We did an earlier thing where I picked a Sigrid first, but we're gonna start a fresh draft here. Ready, everybody? Launch Drafto. All right, I'm going to zoom in so we can read these cards. There we go. Let's check our rare. Making sure I wasn't on a clock. We got that right. Righteous Valkyrie, 2 and a white for a 2/4 flying. I like that already. Whenever another angel or cleric enters the battlefield under your control, you gain life equal to that creature's toughness. I like that already. As long as you have at least 7 or more than your starting life total, creatures you control get +2/+2. How do we not take this? I'll be impressed if something beats this rare. That seems great. I mean, I was happy at, pretty reasonable at 2/4 flying for 3 when Windrake suggests that 2/2 flying for 3 is bad, but, it's the baseline to work from. So with all of that else going on with it, I really like starting with the angel, but let's check out. We got a legend here, 2 green, white for a 2/3. Other creatures you control get +1/+1, so immediately lords. That's neat. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, create a 1/1 white human warrior creature token. Well, that's a strong argument to at least consider this card. It is pretty good, but it is 2 colors, and I would rather just start with the 1 color. So right now I'm still on the rare. Finn the Fang Bearer. I almost said Fang Banger, which I don't like that. Just is that where, they're rough and tumble vampires out there hustling in the streets for cash. Finn the Fang Banger is 1 and a green. For a 1/3 legendary creature human warrior, Death Touch. Whenever a creature you control with Death Touch deals combat damage to a player, that player gets 2 poison counters. How many instances of poison are in this? Maybe just Finn. That'd be classic Magic. Poison isn't a thing except for this one guy, and then basically Finn turns your Death Touchers into poisoners, right? That's neat. I like the flavor there. That's cool. But I don't think I still just want the rare. I still just want this Valkyrie over. But these are all really good. These all feel rare. Like, honestly, if you put a rare symbol on all 3 of these cards, I would buy it. Provoke the Trolls is 3 and a red. Provoke the Trolls deals 3 damage to any target. If a creature is dealt damage this way, it gets +5/+0 until end of turn. Pretty neat 2-way card. 4 mana, 3 damage, kill something, or 4 mana, 5 damage, kill opponent, right? You really only use this on your own creature if turning it into a combat trick or a game-winning trick. 4 mana is a lot. It's not easy to leave 4 mana open at instant, and I kind of wish it were 4 damage because of that, but probably contender for an early pick from this pack, but I still don't like it over the rare. Priest of the Haunted Edge. I can see that it's snow. As a design side, I want to mention, like, Wizards looks for new cool frames to make. Like special frames really bring the eye to a new card. It's a really great way to draw attention to a new mechanic or a load-bearing mechanic to give it an easily identifiable frame. And also it then helps actually just manage the mechanics of the game while you're playing, right? Visual cues from a distance, like, do I have 3 snow permanents? Well, I have 3 things that have this border, so yes, I do, right? We're not really, what does it do? 04, tap, sacrifice, target creature gets -X, where X is the number of snow lands you control. Activate snow lands, not snow permanents. Activate this ability only anytime you can cast a sorcery. That seems excellent in a snow control deck. If there's black snow control, now it's snow control. It's my magic-themed Snow Patrol cover band. Snow Control would love this card because it's blocking early. It's like effectively removing a 2 and 3 power creature early. That's 4 toughness. 4 toughness on a 2-drop. That's blocking a lot of stuff in these days of Magic. And then if you're doing the snow thing, eventually being able to trade it for straight removal, this seems like a high pick for the decks that are doing the thing. And it's not playable for the decks that aren't. I also love those designs because Priest of the Haunted Edge is going to be one of those cards that that when we take it like 9th, we're going to be like, yes, it's our lane. This is going to be the lane identifier, a lane identifier, and a reward for being in a snow control deck because you're going to get this late. So don't prioritize it, but understand that it is very good if you're in the deck, but it's a reward for being in the deck because nobody else is going to want it. Annul, I've talked about a ton. If you want to go check my YouTube videos, you can go check that out. Mainly it's a constructed plant, but a nice best of 3 sideboard option. Certainly nowhere near our first pick. Notvold Recluse, 2 and a green for something with reach. 4/2 reach I like better than the reaches we've seen. These 1/4 reaches, they do the job of like defending the air, but you don't want to play them because if they're not playing flyers, it doesn't do enough. I like this. I like this design for reach a lot more because this says, hey, if you don't have flyers, that's cool. Take 4. But this one, then it says, oh, you do have a flyer? Well, let's trade. Because that's what I really want out of my creature. Like, I can use this as flyer removal or as beatdown. That's a nice modal situation for this. Bind the Monster is a single blue mana for enchant creature. When bind the monster enters the battlefield, tap enchanted creature. It deals damage to you equal to its power. Enchanted creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. So classic knock on blue, freezing target creature, enchanted creature doesn't untap. The problem with enchanted creature doesn't untap is that it lets the creature hit you once. This also lets the creature hit you once, but it's only 1 blue mana. So as long as I'm going to take that hit from the creature anyway, only paying 1 mana to then freeze it is pretty good. Although it doesn't let you chump. Another thing that could happen previously is like, I've got my 1/4 and you attack with 2 3/3s, and I get to bounce off of one of your 3/3s and then cast the don't untap on it. And then I haven't taken the 3. This doesn't let you do that, but it lets you lets you tap it down for 1 mana and still take the penalty. So from an efficiency standpoint, I like it. We're going to be taking this early and playing it a lot. I think if tempo blue is a thing, that's another thing to point out. Blue has trouble with taking this damage if it's in a control situation and maybe hasn't made it to its stability yet. But if you're tempo aggro blue, you don't really care about the damage anyway. So yeah, excellent in tempo. Vault Robber is 1 and a red for a 1/3. 1 tap, exile a creature card from your graveyard, create a treasure token. That seems like a pretty good long game control card as well. 1/3 body to start with, and then long term create some ramp and fixing. I think unless you're doing that exact thing though, you're not going to be interested in this. Frost Peak Yeti, 3 and it fixes though. Keep that in mind. 3 color control. Frost Peak Yeti, that has some sweet art. 3 and a blue for a 3/3. Hey, it's like a hill giant. It's a giant on a hill. Snow creature, 1 and a snow mana. Frost Peak Yeti can't be blocked this turn. Seems like a generic filler card for snow decks, but it is a snow permanent that helps you do the 3+ snow permanents. It's not a land for this thing though. And yeah, I'm not taking it. But another thing, this is another card that will go way late, and the decks that want it will get it. Yeah, very playable in snow. I love hearing that. Very playable in blah is very good Magic design, because that's a design that allows a card to be powerful, but to make you feel clever by getting it late. And as long as everybody has some of that, then the format's balanced, and everybody feels clever about the stuff they're getting late. Craven Hulk is 3 and a red for a 4/4. Can't block alone. We're not interested in that right now. Although hyper aggro, because it can attack alone. Frequently the knock on this type of thing is can't attack alone, but very nice that this can attack alone. Wither Crown, 1 and a black. Yeah, giant tribal is a thing, I guess, so that's going to be big in there. Nothing to start with, of course. Enchanted creature has base power toughness 0 and has at the beginning of your upkeep you lose 1 life unless you sacrifice this creature. That's some fun tension. We talk about how aura-based removal doesn't get rid of utility creatures. They get to still tap for whatever effect it has or whatever. In this case, if you were to throw this on a utility creature, it makes some tension of how long do they get to keep it before they finally have to let it go? Or if you put this on a high toughness creature, it turns it into a blocker, but that pings them every turn. So this is an interesting Punisher mechanic, right, Fantasia? Like a lot of times Punisher mechanics, Punisher means a card that says, Oppo, you get to choose bad thing A for you or bad thing B for you. You get to choose which bad thing happens to you, right? That's Punisher mechanics. Usually giving Oppos a choice about what bad thing happens is too good and makes those cards not very good. But Wither Crown is interesting. If you're not interested in attacking, this is fantastic because they can't attack you and it starts to drain them away until they let it go. So for aggro decks, not so good. For control decks, this seems like a very nice removal spell. Undersea Invader is 4 blue for a flash 5/6, and it enters tapped, which is funny. So you can't surprise block anything here, but you can surprise them with the fact that you have a 5/6 attacking them. But that enters tapped is a real killer for this card, frankly. 5/6s for 6 were already a rough proposition simply because they might have removal. But the fact that they don't even need removal and it doesn't do the stabilization you want the turn it enters is a real killer. I doubt I'm going to be playing this much. If I'm playing... But again, I guess if blue has an aggro deck that needs some weird top end and I don't have it, I guess. But this card is really weak to me. Revitalize, we've seen a million times. Nice glue card for life gain matters, but we're not going to take it here. And we got a nice snow duel, so that's interesting too. But I'm going to follow. I'm going to start with the Valkyrie as expected. Really? Did Anonymous, is Anonymous passing to me? No, who's passing to me? Wykier. Wykier, have you picked? Or maybe it needs everybody to pick? I'm gonna remove. There we go. I removed the absent player and we got the draft going back. All right, let's go back to here. Roostless U, 3 green for a 5/4. When it dies, search your library for a creature card with power, toughness 6 or greater, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. That's pretty neat if you've got targets. Trouble is, how many cards in your deck are you going to have that have power or toughness 6 or greater? You want at least 3, I would think, before you're happy about this, because you don't want to draw. I guess 2 would be okay. You want at least 2 targets for this before you're happy. But then a 5/4 that dies into a replacement is really nice death trigger. This speaks to me in terms of the one way to design Magic cards is to ask yourself, what is a letdown about a card that already exists? Like you say, when you're talking about, hey, we need a 5-power, 5-mana green drop, and you say, well, what do we need for it? Well, what's a problem with a traditional 5/4 3-drop, a 5-drop? Why don't we like 5/4s for 5? Oh, we invest a lot of mana, and then our opponent kills it, and we have put too much into one card, and now they've gotten a mana advantage on us. This is a really nice answer to that, saying, okay, well, what if we designed it so if that happens, we mitigate it with this other step? So a way to design Magic cards is to ask yourself about a card you generally like, where it goes wrong, and how to fix it so that it doesn't go wrong that way. And then boom, you have a Magic card. Rune of Might, 1 and a green for an enchantment. You enchant target permanent, and when it enters the battlefield, draw a card. So immediately you have a floor of enchant something and replace it. What does it do? If it's a creature, it gets +1/+1 and has trample. If it's an equipment, the equipment gets +1. So it really gets +1/+1 and trample either on a piece of equipment or on a creature. I think if you have the equipment to target, you want to target the equipment, unless it, of course, is going to win you the game or whatever. But I love this art. Really, really unique looking for Magic cards art. Almost, is that watercolor? Very beautiful. Yes, that's true. Vehicles, equipments, and anything that turns into a creature, really, right? Anything that turns into a creature is going to get the benefit of when it does. And Agar, the Freezing Flame, we talked about before on stream. Seems really interesting. I don't know if we want to take a gold uncommon here when we have a white rare that we took to start. Braggart. Boast. Put a +1/+1 counter. Yeah, it seems whatever. Behold seems good. We talked about that. Demonic Gifts. What's this? 1 and a black until end of turn. Target creature +1. Yeah, this is a save your creature. We're not going to take that. Dwarven Reinforcements. Create 2/2/1 red dwarf berserker creature tokens with Foretell. So you can pay this on the installment plan. I love me some Foretell. Those are real creatures too. 2/2/1s is some real creatures. So I like this this Dwarven Reinforcements quite a bit. Struggle for Skemfar. All right, 3 and a green sorcery. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Then that creature fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. Okay, so we got our 4-mana fight card, but it's got Foretell. This means Oppo gets to see it coming sometimes, but it's got Foretell of green, so you can actually cast it for cheaper. I think this is the first time I've seen Foretell lead to a discount. So they're basically saying if you're willing to let Oppo know, give them a turn to plan, you can get a discount. But I think this is great. I still love this card. It's on my list now to consider with this Behold, really. Cinderheart Giant, 5 red for a 7/6 at common. Trample When it dies, deals 7 damage to a creature an opponent controls at random. This is crazy town for me because back when I took the first Great Designer Search test, I remember the Great Designer Search, they had questions like, take a look at this card. What rarity is this card? If you had showed me Cinderheart Giant back at the first Great Designer Search and said, what rarity is this? Mark Rosewater himself would have said uncommon. There is no way that Mark would have said that this is a common, right? Oh, that's a good point. I assumed you had to show them the foretell, but I guess you just show them that upon casting it, that it's legal. So maybe they don't know what it is. Never mind. Thank you for that correction. I appreciate that. More like morph. So they know that something is coming, but they don't know what. Good call. Appreciate that clarification. Anyway, we're not taking this. I just think it's just a funny common. Yeah, like morph, show them at end of game. Show at end of game that you weren't cheating, right? Yeah, they have to, or cheating would be possible. Scorn Effigy, 3 mana, 2/3, foretell 0. There you go. So if you're willing to wait a turn, you get this for 2 mana. Very clever design there. I like that. And it makes it flexible. Like this is a this is a nice card to have in your opener because. Well, you could have cheated because, well, it depends on how foretell works. What if there's a when you put a card face down, trigger something? I mean, yeah, you could discard the bluff. You could you might not be able to cheat for much value, but you could absolutely cheat and put something that doesn't have foretell face down. Anyway, back to Scorn Effigy. What I like about this is it basically says this is a 2 or 3 depending on the needs of your curve. If you drew this in an opener with a 2-drop, this would be your 3-drop. If you drew this in an opener with a 3-drop, this would be your 2-drop. And I love that flexibility. Although you could make an argument that this would be your 2-drop still, because then you could go 2-drop for Effigy, turn 3, foretell for 0, and still play your 2-drop. So it kind of depends on the 2-drop. But I just like the flexibility here. Yeah, double spell hyper easily because the foretell is literal 0. So you're going to 2-spell quite easily. Giant Ox, 1 and a white for an 0/6. Cruise vehicles using its toughness rather than its power. Again, an interesting line of text to put on a common, but it's not very powerful, so I can see why. Vehicle control, 6 toughness on a 2-drop. Nothing's getting through this on the ground. Grizzled Outrider, 4 and a green for a plain old 5/5. It's an elf warrior. We'll see if those types matter. Probably not. Probably just filler card that if you need a 5-drop beef, you got it. Frostbite, we talked about that last time, and I kind of like that as a place to start. Do we like what's better than that? Struggle with the fight. Behold with the card draw. Rootless U as the 2-for-1. Well, let's take something. I take the Frostbite. Except it's snow before it's really good. I don't know. Let's draft. Ooh. Blue-Red Giant might have been the best card. Yeah, that's fair. Search for Glory, 2 and a white. Snow sorcery. Search your library for a snow permanent card, reveal a legendary card or a saga card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. You gain 1 life for each snow spent to cast this. The life gain is pretty incidental, so at this point we're talking about whether it's worth 3 mana to go search something. Historically, the 4 mana version in black at common hasn't been particularly playable. 2 black, go get something hasn't been good enough. But if you get a hyper bomb, I could see playing this. But only play this if you have game-winning bombs that you're going to go fetch. Vega, we have one of the colors of this card. What does this do? It's a 2/2 flyer for 3. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, draw a card. I'm in. I want to do this. This is just obviously a plant for for the Foretold, and that's exciting to me. Doomscar Titan 4/4 ETB +1 creatures. Oh, so it's another. This is a nice top end for aggro red. Aggro maybe at 6 mana. Maybe this is a nice top end for mid-range red. But look, it's got Foretell, so you can do it for 5. Yeah, that's pretty cool. But not us here. Smashing Success, 3 in a red. Destroy target artifact or land. If no, forget it. Forget it. 4 mana land destruction, artifact destruction. No, thank you. Horizon Seeker. 3/2 for 3. You can boast. Search your library for a basic land card. Reveal it. Put it into your hand. Hey, that's a 2 for 1. I like it. Especially if there's 3+ color stuff. Then Horizon Seeker helping fix you is neat. It doesn't ramp you because it's not putting it on the battlefield, but finding lands is good. I like it. Yeah, fine floor, playable floor, and excellent upside. If you do this once and then trade, you're happy. If you get to do this twice, you feel like you're cha-chinging. Nice. A 5-day climb. Ha, I'll do it in 2. Are all the boast cards boastly? That's good. That's a good creative to put a boastful flavor text on all the boasts. That's fun. Doomscar Oracle, 2 and a white for a human cleric, 3/2, another fine floor. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, you gain 2 life with Foretell. Well, we're doing the Foretell-y thing, but we're going to try and wheel that. We're going to take Vega. I'm basically going to take Vega and cruise through the rest of this pack. This is interesting. Mm-hmm. Target non-land to owner's hand. Yeah, that's too expensive. Yeah, all right. We're gonna take this Watcher. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit now. Draft a little bit faster and try to lock into this lane. Glimpse the Cosmos, 1 in a blue sorcery. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put 1 of them in your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. As long as you control a giant, you may cast this from your graveyard by playing blue rather than its mana cost. This is okay. See what else we've got, though, in our hopeful blue-white direction. Also, especially looking for Foretold to play into Vega. And what do we got here? Draugr Thought Thief, 2 in a blue. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top card of target player's library. You may put that in their graveyard. That seems weak. Playable, but very weak. Carfel Harbinger, 1 in a blue for a 1/3. Tap for blue. Spend. Oh, yeah, it's a Foretell Ramper. I like this. Ramping for what we kind of want to be doing. We got Bergstrider, 4 in a blue for a 4/4. When it enters the battlefield, tap target artifact or creature an opponent controls. If snow was spent to cast the spell, that permanent doesn't untap. Okay, that seems fine, but whatever. I'm in for the Harbinger right now. And then Shimmerdrift Veil. I've been wondering when we'd see this card. Actually, I have a redemption to talk about this card, so I'm going to review this card for a second and call that redeemed. Shimmerdrift Veil, I'm reviewing all these cards. Snowland, Shimmerdrift Veil enters the battlefield tapped. As Shimmerdrift Veil enters the battlefield, choose a color, add 1 mana of the chosen color. What surprises me is that this was printed as a Snowland. I figured we'd see this as an Evolving Wilds substitute that doesn't involve shuffling. This is shuffling is a real problem in paper. If you put a ton of shuffling in your set, you really slow down the paper game in significant ways, especially with highly playable commons like Evolving Wilds. Evolving Wilds is a great design. It just requires a lot of shuffling. Shimmerdrift Veil takes the Evolving Wild concept and puts it on a card that doesn't require shuffling. Jim brings up memory issues, which is why this card hasn't existed previously. It's no problem in digital because it'll have no, you'll just do that. Shimmerdrift Veil, Jim, don't overthink the memory issue here. Like, the only time there's going to be real memory issues is if you're playing multiple Shimmerdrift Veils to accomplish multiple splashes. Mostly, I think the way you're going to identify what the Shimmerdrift Veil is because you're going to stack it with your other lands. So if you name blue, you're going to store this Veil with your islands, right? So mostly it's going to be pile-based communication, but in the crazy case where I'm running 3 Veils in my base green 5C deck where we really need to track this stuff, okay, at that point, make a token or get a green die and put a green die on it. I mean, you're going to come up with your paper tools, even though it's a little clunky. I think the slight clunk of both the increased words needed to pull off this card and the increased futziness in potential in paper is easily made up for by the fact that you're never going to shuffle, right? It is a really big deal to not have to shuffle that. Anyway, let's take the Harbinger and keep this draft going. Thank you so much, everybody drafting with me. Your patience is wonderful. Usher of the Fallen, a 2/1 for 1 boast, create a token. Wow, how are we not just taking that? And how is it even still here? This seems great. I mean, it loses its luster after turn 1, I suppose, but if you're aggressive white seems like it would love this. We have a new white flyer here with the Raptor, a flying first strike 1/2. Arcanist here, 4 and a blue. This spell costs 1 less if you control a giant or a wizard, so it could be a 4 mana 2/5. When it enters, search for instant or sorcery. That seems like a lot of setup for a 2/5 for 4. I don't know if I'm into that. Ascent of the Worthy. Choose a creature you control until your next turn. All damage will be dealt to creatures you control that is dealt to that creature instead. So you can just like avoid damage for a couple turns. That might be pretty good in some cases. And then 3, return target creature card from your graveyard to your battlefield with a flying counter on it. It's an Angel Warrior. Okay. Something comes back from the dead. I don't think we're going to switch to this, but this seems... I don't know. Maybe this is just elaborate fog and I'm making it up. I don't know if this is actually any good. Like, three turns away from getting to chapter 3 is pretty rough. Another Harbinger here I like, but I'm going to stick with I'm going to take the Usher. I think it's a good card. Oh, it's only creature damage too. Then if it doesn't even work as a fog, I'm not really interested. I didn't read it carefully, I guess. Crush the Weak. I am thinking we're trying to be blue here, but we could pivot back to Boros if it were correct. And with picking up an Usher of the Fallen, Boros could be a thing here. Crush the Weak. Deals 2 damage to each creature. If creature dealt damage this way would die, exile it instead with Foretell. But that's kind of good against us with where we're headed. Raven Wings. Equip creature +1/+0 and flying. Bird into addition to its other types. Interesting, but too expensive overall to prioritize here. Especially, we should be doing our flying on our own. We don't need equipment to fly. Wings of the Cosmos. Another medium combat trick. Here's that Raptor again. Maybe I need to consider pivoting back towards something not white-blue. We had this fight card that I liked the look of early. I think I'm going to take Struggle, and we could end up in green. Green seems to be flowing. This is the same thing we saw before. What's this? Kinseekers. Changeling is every creature type. When it enters the battlefield, if I control 3 or more creatures that share a creature type, put a +1/+1 counter on this, then scry 1. So you need 2 matching creatures. You drop a Changeling that matches everything. And then you get a nice bonus on your 2/4. What do we got here? Shield Mate. I kind of just like a curve filler over this. Do you like the Changeling? Is it super easy to trigger? If it's super easy to trigger, I guess we take that. All right, we'll try the Kinseekers. Story Seeker. Looks like a solid inclusion for what we're up to. Yeah, let's take that. I'm slipping away from evaluate cards mode and slipping into just actually draft mode here. Mr. Plow, that's my name. That name again is Mr. Plow. Hey, that actually reminds me of my favorite Simpsons, Homer Simpson song, which is the Spider Pig song. Spider Pig, Spider Pig. Does whatever... Can he swing from a web? No, he can't. He's a pig. That's the part I like. Finn, in case we end up green, or one of these blue cards. Maybe we just take the Yeti. Hey, Behold came around. I love it. Now we're in the right spot. That Scorn came too. There was that artifact foreteller, but we are all about the Harbinger, or sorry, the Behold. This requires Snow to eventually cast. Oh no, actually you can cast without Snow. Oh, sorry, it doesn't have Snow at all. There's something about the graphic here that made me think that was Snow mana, right? It's not. Sorry, gang. That particular graphic just made me think that was a Snow mana. Never mind. But it had Foretell though, so we're taking it, and we're taking it happily. Revitalize is just cycling. This doesn't seem that much better than just cycling, but I'm going to take the Thought Thief. It might just be the scan of this card, because look at Doomscar Oracle's white mana symbol versus the Righteous Valkyrie right under it. There's just something about this scan, I think. But you can see why I mistook it. Probably not doing the green or the red here. Mr. Plow. Is that playable? I don't know if the plow is. I don't think the plow is playable. But it's weird. I don't even know what's going on here, but how do we not take a white on-color mythic? Let's read it and then take it. Legendary creature God, 4 mana, 4/4. Creatures you control that are enchanted or equipped have double strike. Okay. At the beginning of each combat, you may attach target aura equipment attached to a creature you control to target creature. So we can move stuff around. And then the sword is 2 mana for an equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has vigilance. Whenever equipped creature dies, return it to its owner's hand. Equip 2. Yeah, we're taking it. But it does ask us to play more equipment and auras than we currently have. I think we're going to end up blue. The blue has flowed too much for us to abandon that, but certainly taking the white mythic. Pyre of Heroes, artifact 2, sacrifice a creature. Search your library for a creature card that shares a creature type with your sacrificed creature and has converted mana cost equal to 1+, so you get to go up. Put that card on the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Activate this ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery. I don't know. This makes me want to go out and get some foils of this. I bet there's going to be some weird constructed decks that people are really excited about making with this. I don't think we're doing it, though. This is not in English, so I'm having... it says, adios, wormhole. Adios, wormhole is the name of this card. That's what we're going to call it forever. What does it do? So 1 in a blue, return a non-land permanent to its owner's hand, foretell for 1. So we'll take that. We're doing that. Giant's Amulet we saw before, and I would take if there's nothing better here. Artifacts and enchantments spells cost you cast 1 less. We could start trying to do that, but I don't think we're really there. We're more... Yeah, I mean, that would give us a second artifact thing, or second equipment thing, but I don't know if it's worth it. It is just a 2/2 flyer for 3, though. Shieldmate dies into another token. That's cool also, but there's a Behold. I think we just take Behold. Cyclone Summoner. 5 blue for 7/7 rare. When it enters the battlefield, if you cast it from your hand, return all permanents to their owner's hand except for giants, wizards, and lands. Well, sure does something. Snowbird. Flying, snow tap to draw and discard. We might need to start drafting some snow land so we can do some of our snow stuff. It is kind of interesting. Here's an aura. We do have that aura god, but well, and this does work with it. I don't know. You take the steel and play around with it. Yeah, any snow lands produce snow mana. Exactly. I think we try... In this case, I would try the rare, see if it was any good. It might not be correct, but early format, I would go ahead and try it. Replicating Ring, 3 mana artifact, snow artifact, so it adds snow mana. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a night counter on Replication Ring. Then if it has 8 or more of them, remove them and create 8 colorless snow artifact tokens named Replicated Ring. So really, this is a 3 mana ramp / fixing spell, which has all the same issues about the green one, this one right here, in fact. So these are almost the same card. This one has a little bit more upside and is colorless. But this being, yeah, this seems like Commander players will have fun with it. Not for us, but not for this deck anyway. Enchant creature or vehicle. This is just some decent removal. But I like, I think we're getting kind of aggro here. I like taking the champion and being a little bit more aggro with what we're up to. Aggro control. I don't know. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Well, here's some here's equipment for us, if it's any good. When it enters the battlefield, I can pay 5 to make an angel, so 7 mana to make a heck of an angel. Or we pay 2 and equip 3 to give a creature +2/+1. 7 mana is quite a bit. I don't know if we take that here. Here's another foreign language card. Misty Stepper. Misty Stepper is a 1... Let me guess what it is. It's a 1/4 flying changeling for 3 mana. And you can pay 1 and a blue to give it +1/-1 until end of turn. That seems like a total reasonable curve filler. I might just want a hawk instead, though. And we got this removal spell again. Ooh, Floodplain. Maybe we take Glacial Floodplain here. Foretell Kitty is cool, but I think we need Floodplain more than anything right now. It is both snow and it is on color, so we should grab it while we can. I was like, Augury Raven, that's going to so... like, if... I'll tell you this. I read Augury Raven and knew we were going to take it, because if you have a set with a mechanic called Foretell and you make a card called Augury Raven and it doesn't have Foretell, you have screwed up, Creative. But Creative didn't screw up. It was the plan. We're taking it. This is amazing, and I love that it's still here. Oh my gosh. Being able to play this as a 2-drop and then pay 2 later for a 3/3 flyer? Sign me up. Here's that removal spell, trying to make it into our deck. Here's a piece of equipment, trying to knock on the door of our mythic, but I don't think this qualifies here. I think it's Harbinger or the Aura. And we are being tempo aggro enough here that I think we just want the Harbinger and ramp towards all of our foretelling. I'm going to do more foretelling, playing more into the foretelling. Yeah, I'm calling us aggro, but I think we're kind of a weird mix. Like, I'm definitely playing this Usher, but I would also play the 06, right? So I don't know. We're in a weird place. This, we have one of them, right? So another one of these is good. We picked this mythic. Halvar, God of Battle. Pack 2, pick 1. True's getting the hook up right now with a disconnected passer. Pyres come back. We don't really want it. I think I take a Snowland here in case we're so desperate for Snowlands we have to play an off-color one. Oh, really? True? Funny. Shield Mate dies into a creature. Giant's Amulet, more the 5-drop. And it is equipment. What does this do for equipment again? So we can move this around for free. We don't have a ton of high-end. We don't have, like, other than the Cyclone. I'm going to take the Amulet for experiments. Behold comes back to us. Coming up Millhouse here. Behold! How we're never going to get this many Beholds again. Maybe this is too many. Revitalize, we are not going to take or play, but it's our colors, so sure. Hey, that's nice. Mist late is nice. Yeah, if anybody drafting with me wants to save your deck, maybe we'll play it later. I don't think we're playing planning either, but nice sign that it's our last pick at least. Another mythic on color. What is this? Starnheim Unleashed, 2 white for a sorcery. Create a 4/4 white angel warrior creature token with flying and vigilance. I'm in already. If this spell was foretold, create X of those tokens instead. We're a foretell deck? Oh my god. I wish we were playing this. Can I play this to preserve my hair for the week? Let's do this tomorrow. Let's do this Friday. Battle of Frost and Fire. This feels like a nod to Game of Thrones or something. Another replicating ring. I don't think we're splashing, so I don't care what this says. I'm going to focus on actually drafting here rather than assessing every card. Buying the monster is... We're talking about potentially being tempo here, or we have tempo curve outs. What about Bound in Gold, though? So I'll take the cheaper one. They do similar stuff, but we'll go with cheaper. Ooh, your Rakdos deck is looking smashy. I bet this Vicious Return would do something for you there. We are going to focus on cards in our colors, though. Maybe even Snow-Covered Island is the pick here. I don't think the Hawk is that important, but we have enough snow going on that I do want Snowland. So I'm going to take the Snowland. For a second, I was like, maybe this is a Snow Wizard. But no. Is It Giant Control sounds good, Matt. There's been some cool Is It cards in this draft for sure. It's getting me excited, though. I gotta say, I'm enjoying this. Mundug, we still got you, buddy? What's going on? There we go. Another Doom Scourge for, who was it? Fenor? Doom Scourge for Fenor. No. Really nothing for us on color here. So Shield Mate, or else we would be hate drafting, or Pilfering Hawk, really, but I'd rather just have a 2-power creature that dies into something than a Hawk, I think. That is a squirrel. Not for us, though. Can't be countered. Indestructible. Attacks each combat if able. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. I like it. Cool design. Another Doom Scourge. We're doomed. Equipment we can consider. A lot of green going around. I like the effigy that we passed before. When Rune Crowned enters the battlefield, you may search your library, hand, or graveyard for a rune card and put it into your in the battlefield attached to Rune Crown. Does that mean has some sort of super type that's rune? If you search your library this way, shuffle it, of course. This is doing some combo thing that I don't understand yet. Okay, we'll take a look at that when we see one. But I'm taking the effigy here over the sinkhole. What is going on here? It must be the scan or something, but I don't know what these... Just a weird scan. Run Ashore just seems too expensive. Code Spell, Cleric, Vigilance. If this is the second spell you cast this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Maybe I might want to try this. This seems interesting to try and slip into your early curve. we might not be quite aggressive enough for this, but I think this might be an aggressive role filler in this format. Does casting foretell count as... Let me say this. If I have done the foretell thing and then I cast the foretell card, have I cast two things, or is foretell an uncounterable action? Feels like foretell is like an uncounterable... Oh, it's two things. It's two counterable things. Yeah, okay. So you can't counter foretelling something. That's relevant to know. But anyway, I think that cleric has potential. I don't know if it's going to hit, but there's definitely potential that this is a real card in the format. Invoke the Divine over anything else here. This is best of 3. We're happy to have it in the board, and if it's best of 1, probably not main decking it unless it's a format that demands it. It could be. Augury Raven. Yes, but the snow ends up being incidental. If you needed 17 snow permanents for snow to be good, you would be absolutely correct that needing to spend picks on it is a little bit of a high ask. But a lot of the rewards for snow are pretty incidental on that front. So, like, what do we have? The Frost Peak Getty. Like, you just need one to activate this. You know, it's not like you need a deck full of it. You just need... Think of it as a splash. If you're if you have enough snow lands and snow mana at like a splash level, you can think of it as splashing the ability to make your Yeti unblockable, that kind of thing. Augury Raven, though, is just a slam here for me. Disdainful Stroke, probably worth taking. It certainly was a card we actively liked having in Guilds of Ravnica. I don't know about this format. I also don't know about this removal. This feels too risky, but maybe there's a world in which... I don't know. Obviously, if their hand is empty, you love this, right? If their hand is empty, this is super premium. Or if their hand is weak, this is super premium. But... you can't cast this early. Maybe you take it and try it, but Stroke just seems like it's going to be useful. Like, if I only want to cast this late, why not just take the Stroke, which is excellent late? So I'm going to just take the Stroke. Maybe that's wrong, but I don't know. Thought Thief, I don't think we're ever running because our deck got too good. I'm not going to build this deck, by the way. I'm going to get to the end of the draft. We'll just kind of take a look at it, and then we're going to sign off here. I don't think this is a real card for us, although we do have, again... I know that God doesn't even work with that either. God works with this more than the other one, so we'll take that, but not run it. And Hawk, but probably not run it. Deck seems like it's real good, though. Got some real build-arounds. Vega. Got some good mythics. Colors were open. I like the Beholds. I like the Augury Ravens a lot. I don't know what this does, but I don't care. It's not in our colors. Same with this. But look, we have cuts, a lot of cuts. 30 cards, a lot of cuts to make. I think this would have been a fun, fine play. I'm going to export it to Arena. It's possible we revisit. Maybe not super likely, though. By the time we actually can play these cards, we're just going to want to draft again. But maybe offline or something. If you drafted with me today and you want to play later, save your deck. Maybe we'll find a time to do it. So I'm going to hop back here to the soapbox, though, and say, hey, there you go. I didn't lie. We drafted Kaldheim. That was really cool. That whetted my appetite, and I am in. I am looking forward to this. Going to be fun to solve the puzzle of a new format with you all. Thank you for hanging out and watching that on YouTube. We will catch you certainly for some more drafts tomorrow, but catch you a week from today for drafting and playing this for the first time on the streamer preview stream on the 27th. So look out for that. And I'll stream extra long that day. So some of my YouTube friends who can't always catch me, remember on the 27th, I might be streaming when you can catch me. So come check me out later, and we'll see you then, okay? Bye, YouTube friends.